Good afternoon, everyone. It is, of course, Thankful Thursdays, and I'm your girl, Zsa Zsa, and you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, y'all already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add more to it. Listen, you have the activities of your limbs. You are in your right mind, and you ain't in nobody's hospital, and you ain't in nobody's jail, as I say every single week. Regarding your life, it is a beautiful day. It is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Listen, it's your girl Zsa Zsa, and you're tuning in to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. Listen, we're talking about getting back in the game. So what's the next move? What's the next plan? And I know earlier this year we all had our goals that we wanted to accomplish. We wanted some relationships to last longer that we thought would have. Some of us have started some new relationships with some new people, whether it be platonic, business, whether it be friendships. You have developed some new business partners. You've ended some business partners. And sometimes life can put you in a crossroad where you don't know which direction, because life is offering you a multitude of directions. And sometimes it's hard to determine which way you're going to go based on the situation that you're in right now. And I say that because, and if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Y'all, excuse me. I go from switching my wig to my eyes watering because I got allergies. And you know how that go. When the weather changes, so does everything else in the atmosphere. But if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about getting back in the game. So what's the game plan? And I know that life can give us hurdles and obstructions and challenges and changes. And then life can throw you a loop, and it's all good. Everything is good in your area. You ain't complaining about nothing. But you also want to know, okay, what am I going in the right direction? Am I dealing with people accordingly the way that I should? And I know that our city, if you're watching from other cities, I'm filming from Detroit. Shout out to all of my Detroiters out there, my D girls, my D boys, everybody from Joy Road to 7 Mile to Belle Isle to East Side, all of that, everybody. Everybody's everybody to want to be somebody. And I know that we are constantly changing, and our city is constantly evolving. People are coming in. There are events that are happening. Some people are aware of, some people are not. And there are tables where people are sitting down discussing the future, not only of our city, but the future of our schools, the future of how we govern and how we go about doing things. And you got to get in the game to know what's going on. And I know you probably feel like, well, Zsa Zsa, I don't know nobody to get in the game. Well, you know me. So long as you keep staying connected to me, then I'll keep connecting to these people, so you know what's going on in the world, and especially what's going on within our city. But if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about get back in the game. And, you know, I remember growing up and watching Roots and learning about the NAACP and the Urban League and the Southern Christian Leadership Council and all of these prestigious organizations that were specifically catered to our people. And you know, it really frustrates me that people now become a part of organizations that don't make a real impact. I know I've mentioned other organizations in times past on some of my shows because they are making an impact and making some noise and some changes and actually putting their foot to the pavement, unlike some of these other organizations that have been around for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And when it comes down to seeing their activeness, their impactfulness, we don't see it, but we see their names branded on things, and we hear people saying they're a part of certain organizations. And you know, it's no shade to nobody, but you know, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. We have to be careful that we don't join establishments and organizations that aren't beneficial to your purpose. It may look good on a resume, and it may look good to other organizations or other people, but if it's not impactful the way that you thought it would be, and you're just a part of a group or a part of a team, and you don't see any results from you being a part of that movement, or you're a part of an organization and they're supposed to be for the community and they don't do no community events, they don't do, you're just housing. Because I remember being a part of an organization, and if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and we're talking about getting back in the game. I was a part of an organization and on the board of this organization. And you got to be careful of who gets in leadership, because when you're leading organizations or leading companies, the demise of that company, the demise of that organization is predicated upon the leadership that's in place. If you have bad leaders, poor leaders, intimidated leaders, jealous leaders, you have people, you will have the same replica of those same people in that organization. And what happened was, me being a part of this organization, they ended up voting in this other young lady by default. And since then, the organization has went down. And when I say down, I mean down, down, down. Everybody that started off with me, and I mean, it was a big group of us. And when I say big group of us, I mean, it was like a good solid 30 of us. And right now, I think they may have 10, maybe 5 or 10 of the original people left. When you have great leaders duplicate those numbers. They don't diminish them. When I started off in ministry, I was given a ministry and I had 2 members. Those 2 members were my sisters. And from there, myself as well as my partner, we were able to not only triple, quadruple, but we were able to take those 2 members and transition into over 50 members, over 50 young ladies. So when you have a good leader in place, a good person in place, what happens is they duplicate that same type of leadership. Look at our executive board right now, and how we're being led in this country. We have a person that's in place that is not a great leader. They may have been a sneaky and conniving business person and able to finesse through the business world, but when it comes to leading a group of people, that their expectation is that you're going to take them somewhere that's going to be sufficient for them and help them with their life. Nobody wants to follow a leader that keeps them in drama, keeps them in foolishness, unless you're a person that likes drama, unless you're a person that's angry, likes to fight, likes to be involved, and a lot of different things that's not befitting for your future. And so with that being said, I encourage you all to be a part of organizations like the NAACP, like the Urban League, like Black Young Professionals of Detroit, so that way you can become established. There are a lot of different organizations. That Girl by Natasha Lee, it's a great organization to be a part of that's getting started. The Girl Gang, that's another organization. Because Detroit, we're winning by groups, and so I'm not saying that you won't be successful on your own. I'm not saying that you won't be successful with your brand or what it is that you're trying to promote. But what I am saying is, it's always a great thing to collaborate with other like-minded individuals. Now, you got to be careful, because there are a lot of people. Okay, yeah, I said it before I take it back. I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about getting in the game. There are a lot of people that are wolves in sheep's clothing. And I'm not trying to be deep. I'm not trying to be extra spiritual or anything, but you got to ask God. You got to ask the universe. You got to ask whoever your spiritual person is to give you the power of discernment to know who to work with and who not to. Listen, I have been bamboozled, hoodwinked, and finessed by people who I thought, okay, y'all, who I thought they talked like me, they looked like me, they stood upright like me, they stood with their shoulders back like me, and you think by the looks of it that these people have integrity. By what you're hearing, you think, oh, this person is a valiant person. This is a person that actually has a good heart, has good intentions. And then slowly but surely, that onion starts peeling back. And if you stick around a person long enough, you'll start seeing a person for who they really are. And I'm not here to tell you to cut people off and, eliminate relationships in your life. You only know who you need to eliminate. You only know who you need to work with or who you don't need to work with. That's not up to me to tell you that. But what I can tell you is that when you start taking a seat and looking at your life and the roles that people play in your life, when you take a seat in your life and you start looking at things that stress you out, people that stress you out, and we're talking about getting back in the game, what's the next game plan? Because life has a way of turning things upside down for the good and for the bad. And you don't really know why. God, why is this stuff happening to me? Why is this situation happening to me? Why are these relationships like this? Why is this business? You gave me the idea to start this business. You gave me the idea to start this vision, but I'm flustered. I'm frustrated. I'm having some devastations, and it's causing me to become depressed, or it's causing me to become frustrated and lashing out. And you're dealing with these emotions and you don't know where they're going or where they're supposed to go. And I'm telling you, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Yeah, I said it before I take it back. I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about what's the next game plan, because life has a way of changing things and you have to figure it out. And sometimes you can't talk to everybody. Everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart. And I said that to say there are wolves in sheep's clothing. There are wolves in sheep's clothing in the pulpit, at your job, that work with you, that collab with you, that partner with you, that sit right in your house. Yeah, I said it. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because at the end of the day, when God gives you that spirit of discernment, he'll start revealing people to you, and it'll be a shocker. I'm telling you, it will shock the sugar honey iced tea out of you. When I asked God for a specific prayer, and I asked him, start showing me the people in my life before I make any money, before I get syndicated, before I have access to all the things that I've been praying for and putting myself in position for. I prayed that prayer, you guys, and I literally was devastated. I mean, devastated at some of the people that I genuinely thought were for me. And it's not to say that they were bad people. Okay, let me clear that up. It's not to say that they were deliberately trying to hurt me or make me feel some type of way, but they didn't have my best interests at heart. Some people love you. They do. They like you. They do. But they don't have your best interests at heart. They don't see the same goal that you see. They don't have the same vision that you have. Because when I started some of my businesses and some of my ventures, I was hurt because I thought certain friends were supposed to be there. Certain family members were going to be there. Certain people were going to just be full throttle on the Zsa Zsa team. And here I am putting my all into some of these things, giving my last to some of these things, giving my all of my mental, because your mental is just as valuable as them dollars. Okay? I don't ever want any one of you all, any of my viewers, to think that what you do doesn't matter if you don't have this. There are some people who have this and they're able to put themselves in a broader audience. It doesn't mean that your service or your product or your brand is any less than anybody else that has the big bucks, that can get on the TV, that can get on the billboard, that can get on and have the advertisements that they have. That's why I offer advertisement to some of you all who are starting off in business, because you don't have $500, $600, $1,000 to get a billboard. You may just have $10 to do some shout outs, or $20 or $30 to do I can do a commercial for you, if that's what it takes to get you to your next level. Because at the end of the day, that's what those organizations like the NAACP, the Urban League, and all of these different organizations, these organizations were put in place to support those people in the community that were the movers and the shakers, that were the entrepreneurs and the business people and the politicians and the professors and the people that were making a difference in the community. Those people had support systems. It wasn't your group versus my group, even though there were egos, because at the end of the day, we all have an ego. We all have a personality where, you know, we take pride in what we do. But we have to get back to a place where we're not only supporting each other, but we're putting each other in positions to win financially. Because it's not enough for us to have all these great ideas, like I said, and not have the money to be able to support it. And so when you have these organizations that are in place, you make sure that you learn who the people are so that you can get that support. And if you don't get that support, create your own group. Create your own organization. How do you think some of these townships came to play? These little townships or these little cities, they decided, you know what, I don't like what you're doing over here, so I'm going to start my own group over here. How you think these Church of God in Christ and Missionary Baptist Church and Apostolic this and Church of the Living God that, they said, you know what, I don't like what you got going on here, so I'm going to start my own church. I'm going to start my own ministry. I'm going to start my own this. I'm going to start my own that. How do you think we got, when you go down the bread aisle, you don't just see Wonder Bread and Hostess. You see Millie's bread. You see Pepperidge. You see all these different brands. You know why? Because somebody said, this bread don't got something that my bread got. So you have to get into a position where don't get frustrated. Get back in the game. See, I was so consumed with who wasn't doing what, who wasn't supporting what, that I wasn't paying attention to who was supporting me, who was patronizing me. I had to recalibrate my game plan because I had put too much energy in who wasn't doing what I wanted them to do when I wanted them to do it. And because of that, I ended up sabotaging myself by not putting a culture or cultivating to the people that were. And at the end of the day, when you take a seat back and look and evaluate your life, you can get a better understanding of, are we advancing or are we standing still? You always want to get a part of a group or a team or a group of people that are advancing. I remember growing up on the block, and I lived off Joy Road, and everybody came on my hood. And I'm telling you, once I finish this book, and you read about some things that I've had to deal with, you'll have a better understanding. But growing up in my hood off Joy Road, there were groups of people, blocks, groups, just standing around. They weren't doing nothing, talking about how to hit a lick, what's their next move gonna be, what they want to do in the future, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. But when some of them decided to separate from those groups, they were able to get a different viewpoint of what life could really be like for them. Some of the people that you are around genuinely do love you and care about you, but they don't have your best interests at heart. You got to be careful of the people that you listen to. The other day I made a very dumb decision because I was listening to somebody else, and I asked their opinion, like, what should I do? You know, you've been in that position where you ask your friend, your homegirl, your homeboy, you know, you sitting there, you got your brewski, square, blunt, whatever, y'all sitting there talking, you're stressed out, you're trying to figure out, what do I do in this situation? And so you go to the people that are closest to you, who you feel you can trust. Some people don't have your best interests at heart. It doesn't mean that they don't love you, it don't mean that they don't care about you, but they don't see what God has for you. They don't know what it's going to take for you to become who you need to become. Had somebody told me I was going to have to go through all the hell and hot water that I went through with people that I thought loved me, cared about me, was praying for me, I would have told you, you can have it. I don't want it. If I got to go through this hurt, if I got to go through the hurt from people that say they care about me and say they love me but do this, y'all can have it. I don't even want to be great. Now I understand how celebrities can get to a point where they don't know who they can trust, because here it is, you grow up with people that you think gonna back you, and then they turn around and they do some odd stuff, and now you looking at them like, I don't know you. You are not the person who I thought you were. And it's sad. And you know, I'm a big person, I'm a big believer in forgiveness. I don't like anybody that knows me, know me, like you know me. Like you can call me right now because you know me. They know I'm always a happy-go-lucky person, so it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get under my skin. And when you under my skin, don't let them people stress you out. Don't let this, no, I'm stressed out. I don't like it. I don't like how they treat me. I don't like what's happening. I speak out on those type of things. I'm not a person that's going to hold stuff inside. I speak with my face. I've been working on it, y'all, with my facial expressions. But I said all that to say you have to be mindful whose advice you endorse. Because I endorse somebody's advice, and it put me in an odd position. And now I have to figure out how I'm going to deal with this person, because I'm good. I stand on my ground. When you know who you are, you're not persuaded by other people's opinions of you. You can hold your head up high with your shoulders back and stand with no problems, no insecurities, because you know what you stand on and you know what you believe. But when you're wavering, you confused, you look uncertain, people have a way of using you. And you have to look at a situation like, are these people helping me advance, or are these people helping me to stand still? And if you're listening, you're tuning in and you're listening to, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about getting back in the game. What's next? Because life can change at any given moment. When I was sitting there at my aunt's memorial service, guys, and thank you so much for your prayers. I was sitting there at my aunt's memorial service, and one of the things that I sat there and I thought about my mom, I thought about my dad, I thought about my brother, all these people who have gone before me. And I thought about all the hurt that I had to endure and the pain that I had to endure from losing people that I love. Then I'm sitting at this memorial service, and I started thinking about the people that I lost because they hurt me. Then I started thinking about the pain that I caused myself for being disobedient and non-compliant with God because of what he told me to do, and relationships that he told me to cut off long time ago, but because I didn't want to cut my foot to save my body got injured. And I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You have to be careful of whose opinions you endorse when it comes to the walk and the direction in life in which you're trying to go. Everybody's opinions are not always good for you, including your spouse, including your kids, including your family. I have a friend that I endorsed their opinion, and it messed me up. I'm not listening to them no more. That's it. I may ask them about some fashion. I may ask them about how's the weather, about traveling, but this particular subject, I won't be asking them no more. You know why I won't be asking them about it no more? Because they're not an expert in that matter. And because I was in a position where I had to make a decision, I should have went with my spirit. My spirit man told me, don't move on that. Because if you move on that, then it'll be another situation that you got to deal with. Don't move. But because I value somebody else's opinion, I ended up moving on a situation that my spirit told me not to move on. And so now, me and this person are at odds. Not a bad odd, but it's weird. It's weird. You know when you're working with somebody and it gets weird. Somebody that did something wrong, said something they ain't had no business saying, and now the tension, you can feel it. I'm big on spirits. I'm big on vibes. I'm big on body language. I'm big on all of that. I pay attention. And there are times where I didn't pay attention, and I should have paid attention, and it put me in a bad position. So now I gotta learn. Every day I'm learning. I'm forever a student. Don't ever think that you are so such and much and so this and that, and you've gotten to a point of success that you don't think you need to listen to people, because there is somebody that's doing way better than you. And then there are people that are not doing better than you financially or socially, but they're happy. They're at peace. They don't have all these problems. That's why if you watch my Insta stories, and I encourage you to, because I do my little snippets throughout the day, throughout the week. I encourage you to watch my Insta stories. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Zsa Zsa C Hubbard. Follow me on YouTube. You know Zsa Zsa Hubbard, because you do. You know me. I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about get back in the game. You got to pay attention to see, are you advancing or are you just staying in place? And are you just doing enough, or are you breaking down doors? I don't want nobody a part of my team that's barely doing enough. I want people a part of my team and in my circle that's knocking it out the park and down. I don't, even if they don't see immediate results, they know that when they stepped out on that field, they gave it their all. See, when I talk to my son, I have to talk to him in football terms because that's the only lingo and language he know right now, because right now it's off season. They practicing, they getting their plays together, getting ready for the upcoming football season. Like many other football players, right now they're getting ready for football season. They're gearing up. They're looking at their plays. They're going over plays. And the thing about it is that when you step out on that field to get in the real game, everything that you've practiced should come out on that field when it come time for the real game. If you've been BSing during preseason and you've been BSing during practice, it'll show during game time. See, when people call me to host events, I ain't trying to get ready. I got my mic. I got the event ready. I have my shows already ready all the way up until November, getting ready for 2020. But see, that's preseason work. And if you're not doing preseason work and you just doing just enough, you can't knock down no doors. You can't knock it out the park. And let me tell you, people who think like me, they are hated by people who don't. People who only think face value as to what they see and they not thinking futuristic. They not thinking about how to resolve problems that may occur based on present circumstances. I don't like dealing with them people because those people are uncertain to me. Yeah, I get it. YOLO, you only live one life. I'm out here. Yeah, I feel it. I know. I get it. But you also have to deal with the reality that life is real. And if you're not prepping yourself to be in the game, you're prepping yourself to watch people in the game. If you're not putting time and effort into making yourself better, you're putting time and effort into making yourself worse. It's no in between with this. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. If you're tuning in, we're talking about getting back in the game. What's the game plan? Now, when it comes down to just doing enough, breaking down doors, you have to generate an outcome. What is the outcome of what you're trying to do? You trying to be a financial advisor? What's your goal? Are you trying to get people to be financially free? You trying to get people portfolios? What is your game plan? What is it that you're trying to do? Because if you know what you're trying to do and you're doing everything around it, you'll never get to your goal. One of the mistakes that I was making, I was helping everybody else with their businesses while mine was holding on by threads. Here I am building business plans, helping people start nonprofits, helping people with their financial planning and branding and marketing. And here I am slothful with my own stuff. One of the things that I've learned in this little miraculous 33 years of living. Yeah, I know I'm only 33. I'm a young tender. Yeah, I said it before I take it back. I'm ammo to it. One of the things that I've learned is that I had to eliminate, by sitting down and taking an evaluation of my life, I had to look and see what was stressing me out, who was stressing me out, because I had to eliminate anything that was distracting me because I was giving out of my cup. I'm giving. And when I look back in my cup to help me, I had nothing left. There was nothing there of substantial, real work, real progress that I could say because I had just helped everybody. My brothers and sisters, because I felt I had to, because my parents were dead. Trying to help my brothers in prison, I felt I had to because that's what my mama did. I felt like I had to do this because that's what they did. I felt like I had to do this because that's what the church people wanted from me. I had to do this because this is what the political world expected from me. After having a nervous breakdown, going to jail, going to rehab, losing my mind, losing weight, losing everything that I could possibly lose, my marriage, my home, everything that I owned, my businesses, after sitting down and losing my mind, learning that I cannot give out of my cup. I have to give out of my saucer if I choose. Some of you are making yourself obligated to people that you don't have to be obligated to. I had to sit back and say, this is not my problem. I didn't create this issue. Why am I coming in being Captain Save with a 304? This ain't my problem. Why am I giving you solutions to a problem that don't involve me? Oh, so you mean to tell me that you asked me for my advice, you did not take it, this was the result, and now you want me to come and help you? And I'm dealing with my own situation? So now you want me to leave what I'm doing to come help you? I had to say no. No. I can't. I'm not available. Unfortunately, not this time. Maybe next time. I have to see. I had to learn different ways of disconnecting and removing myself, because I really had a problem with disconnecting myself. I thought that I needed certain things to make me who I was. I thought that I needed to be connected to certain people to feel validated for what it is that I was doing. I am important on my own. I didn't need no validation from nobody. I know how well I do what I do, and let me tell you, I do it well. Anything that I put my mind to. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I do what I do extremely well. Extremely. All things. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So if God gave me the strength to do it, guess what? It's going to get done exceptionally well. Anything that I put my hands to. And you have to have that same thought process as well. Because sometimes patterns and routines will mess you up. When my mom got sick, I was used to going to the hospital, going to the nursing home, going to work, going to church. That was my routine. That was my routine. That was it. That was all I knew. All I knew at that particular moment, Wayne County, City County building, hospital, rehab, home. That's that church. That was my routine. Anybody that knew me and was close to me, they knew where they could find me in one of those 4 places: home, church, work, or at the hospital or rehab with my mom. When my mom died, that changed my routine. So now the time that I used to have to help her at the rehab or the hospital, now I got this open time, this open space that was once filled up with a person and their situation. Okay, this is weird. Now I got to reevaluate. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about getting back in the game, preseason, game plan. What are we doing? What's your next move? How do we get to it? One of the frustrating things was I didn't know what to do with my time. I had stuff that I needed to get done, okay? But I didn't know what to do with my time because it had been filled with this space. It had been filled. So now my mom is dead. And now I got to figure out the time that I was using to help her, feed her, clean her up, change her, kick it with her. Now I got to feed this time. Okay. Now I'm involved in all these ministries at church. And now I'm not a part of nothing. And the one ministry that was my heart, I'm no longer a part of. So now, not only am I trying to find things to fill my time up, but now I'm suffering from mental anguish because depression will set in. Depression will say, don't nobody love you. Don't nobody like you. Don't nobody want to buy what you offering. Don't nobody want your service. Don't nobody want to get their hair done. Ain't nobody spending no money with you. See, the enemy will come in and mess with your mind, okay? And I ain't the only one. Y'all can act like y'all ain't having these mental talks with yourself if you want to. You want to know how these people get on the road and they be rocking and they got homeless because they done had a mental breakdown and they not paying attention to how they are feeling. And see, your mind will play tricks on you. Men especially. Men, your mind, if a woman do you any kind of way, it'll mess your mind up. Then you're looking at all these other women as tricks and hoes, and they trying to finesse you, and they trying to take your money, and they having a hot girl summer. Every woman ain't like that. Every woman ain't trying to finesse your pockets and run game on you and slurp you up and slob you down and leave you broke. Everybody ain't trying to do that. Every man ain't coming in to try to hurt you, cheat on you, or treat you any kind of way. But what I am going to say is, you be mindful. You pay attention. Like I said in the beginning of the show, ask God for a spirit of discernment, and he'll show you the people that you're dealing with. Because there are going to be people that you're going to share intimate time with, again, that don't hold your best interests at heart, because they're here to get what they are coming to get. And I got somebody right now in my world right now that I'm waiting to see, are they going to spaz out, trip out, act fake, flip out? Because I pull people in and I slowly start introducing them to people in my world, just to see how they are, how they gonna act, how they gonna deal with certain things. Are they gonna switch up on me? I'm always waiting, and I know this is probably crazy, but it helps me to not get hurt in the long run. Because if I'm expecting you to F me over when you do it, it's gonna be like, okay, I felt it, I knew it. My spirit told me you were. I just was trying to figure out, when were you gonna do it? What opportunity was it gonna be when you were gonna flake out on me? And when you look at situations like that, when you're in a relationship, you can't get upset if y'all break up or